back. So that's all. So there you go. In a nutshell, that's what it means to be an ambassador.
It's just because I do it all the time. I mess up all the time.
Hold Sandy accountable. That I'm going to add that to the list of requirements and agreements. You must hold Sandy accountable, and I hold you all in account for holding me accountable. So there you go. There's what it means to be an ambassador. The so and so what we'll do is we'll go over today the just a high level overview. You've all, those of you already on the call, we've already spent time together. I really already have had time with everybody but one person, one ambassador. And so you've already gotten a lot of the backstory, but for the sake of recording and the sake of those who are coming up behind you, this might serve as also a nice little introduction to what we're going to be doing today, as well as kind of the broad brush overview. So, but what I'd like to do before that is, yeah, let's just do the little bit of a run through. So I'm going to give you just a very, very, very brief overview of the history and kind of what got us here to knowing that it was time for an ambassador program and what that really means and the spirit of what that means, which you are going to be contributing to as we go through this together. The kind of the layers of leadership that are available through our ambassador program and the opportunities and those things we don't even know about, and some things that I need from you, because we're going to be creating a landing page for ambassadors and what I need for that landing page too. And then we'll spend some time together and see where sparks fly. And I'll take copious notes as well and pay attention to patterns that emerge. But before we do that, it was just this moment or minutes ago decided that that I would like to anchor our calls each time. So I might just call on you to read an inspiration for the next call or something to kind of, again, just anchor us all, bring us all into the same vibration, like a tuning fork for our hearts. And I thought that this might be a really cool way of starting this call. And that is by reading the very first, it's called a prayer, but I don't really see it as a prayer, by Dorothy Day. And it's one that came to me right before our first Sarah meeting in 2002. And every so often it gets read at a Sarah meeting or an annual meeting. So here it is. It's called Healing the World. What we want to do is change the world, make it a little simpler for people to feed, clothe, and shelter themselves as God intended them to do. And to a certain extent, by fighting for better conditions, by crying out unceasingly for the rights of the workers, of the poor, of the destitute, the rights of the worthy and the unworthy poor. And in other words, we can, to a certain extent, change the world. We can work for the oasis, the little cell of joy and peace in the harried world. We can throw our pebble into the pond and be confident that its ever widening circles will reach around the world. So thank you. Thank you. That is kind of a timeless statement, however you identify with God or higher being or higher intelligence. We're all here in our gifted, creative, wild self. So thank you for being here in that creativity. Okay, so a little bit of history. So in 2008, in preparation for the Parliament of the World's Religions that was held in Australia, the Parliament of the World's Religions sent out applications to become ambassadors for the Parliament. And the intention was to bring more attention to the Parliament, bring more attendance to Australia. And there were hundreds of ambassadors all around the world. I know when I saw the application, I thought, well, isn't that cool? What a cool title to have, you know? I'm willing to go out and do the work, but I'm gonna get people's attention, and ears are gonna perk when I say I'm an ambassador for the Parliament of the World's Religions. And that's exactly what happened. And I was, and there were other ambassadors also, even in my county and in the surrounding counties. And we would come to each other's events too. And we would hold events, we would show up at one another's events. we would, when we spoke, we would say, well, my name is Sandy, and I'm with Sarah, but I'm also an ambassador for the Parliament of the World's Religions. And that worked. The ambassadors were well, credited for bringing a lot of attention and attendance to the Parliament. And so when in around 2016, when I started the women and girls sector at the Charter for Compassion, I had this model for what this kind of like volunteer spokesperson role could look like. Yet I knew, because this was a space for women and girls, it had to be really seeped in feminine principles. And so in those feminine principles of collaboration and cooperation and shared leadership, that it had to be more than just kind of a one-way commitment, right? I didn't get a discount for going to the Parliament, to go to the Parliament. And I don't think I did. It didn't matter. It was really me just showing up with, to represent them. But I wanted this ambassador role to be more of a breathing in and out, more of a layer of leadership outside of the core committee. And that's exactly what happened. There were over 100 ambassadors at the Charter for Compassion, women and girls sector. Every program that came out of that sector came from our ambassador program, from our ambassadors. We met weekly. That was a lot. I don't think we need to do that now. But if you do, and if we all agree to that, I'm willing to have more frequent meetings. But right now, I don't see that as being a thing. Even the leadership that's there today, running the sector after I came back full board with Sarah, everything came out of the ambassador program. And for me, what that said is when empowerment opportunities arise, and sometimes, the title helps, because for me, I know it did for me. I was the director of the women and girls sector. I got invited to a lot of things because I had that title. I lived into it too. But I might not have if I was just a volunteer with the Charter for Compassion. I might not have gotten the attention. So there is that. We can't deny that matters. So, so the three categories of leadership as an ambassador, and they all kind of blend into one another, is, yes, we love the voice. We love you being out there saying that, yes, you're an ambassador for Sarah. It brings attention to us. We love that you'll help promote our things. And I've already seen on Pleasant's platform promoting this call we're having on Wednesday. We're spontaneously responding to the needs of our community through surrounding our Asian sisters. And so thank you for that. So and it doesn't necessarily mean, adding a lot to your plate, or even adding a whole lot more to your plate. Just adding that extra breath or that extra finger stroke helps. And then it shows your relationship. But then in the benefit of that as well, and here comes Sarah. Oh gosh, this is so great. Sarah's great. I can't wait for you to meet her too. And let me just pause and let her know that this is being recorded. Oh, there they are. Hi, Sarah. So I just want to let you know where we are I'm in a moment, I'm going to complete this little high level overview, and then, which is being recorded, and then we'll hear all of your voices. Yes, we love you out there being that spokesperson, boots on the ground, ear to the ground, and supporting us in that partnership. And also we have opportunities for leadership here too. I've spoken to all of you about this already. Marina is already the editor of our newsletter and doing a stellar job. And she's actually already contributed to our blog, and a writer. So we have a whole list of ways to show up. There is now a landing page on our website, which you can go to after this call, where I would also like your images and your bio. And this is where I'm going to ask you to send me your photo that I can put up there, and also a sentence or two that says who you are in a really creative way. So when I'm asked for a 1 or 2 sentence something to introduce myself, my go-to is sort of, my name is Sandy, I'm the president of Sarah, And I consider myself a social artist. I love to paint with people. My favorite part is getting people all over me. So that's the kind of statement. And then I was looking at Pleasant's platform, her Mighty Network platform, and Pleasant, she says, I'm obsessed with community and circles, learning and growing and sharing my life with other humans. I love talking about the parts of life and death. So yeah, something, along those lines, something that just says who you are from a very personal place and where your passion is. And that's really, at this point, all I really ask, um, is that you show up in your highest and deepest value system, that you come from your passion, and that you stay prepared to be surprised about what might emerge. And there are three of you who are here, Nancy, Sarah, and Pleasance, all are already seeing kind of this thread between the three of you. So I can't wait for me to stop talking, and to hear, and Larissa and I are here to hear from you. Let me do this. Let me introduce Larissa. Hi, Larissa. Larissa and I met at our early festival about a year into Sarah, maybe not even that long. And we fell fast in love, and she's been on our advisory board and leadership and steadfast attendee and presence at Sarah. She's walking embodiment of Sarah. So you want to say
Thank
hi,
you.
Larissa?
Aloha and talofa, everyone. Welcome to Sarah. Strap on your life jackets, put on your goggles, and get ready for the canoe ride of your life, okay? Sandy is amazing. I'm sure that you've all pretty much assessed that. She is go, go, go. And it's wonderful because her passion just overflows into everything that we do here at Sarah. Um, I'm mostly involved with the General Congress of Women. We plan every Monday, and our partner is Ann Smith, and I'm sure you'll get to know Ann and all of our other Sarah sisters. And so we're having something that's very near and dear to my heart this coming Wednesday to support our Asian sisters. And thank you for bringing that up as a suggestion, Presence. We gathered in the Heart Ashram here in Orange County, California for many, many years. And it was just wonderful evenings of food and coming together to share from our hearts in sacred circle with our sisters. We watched movies in the backyard of Sandy's home. I called it the Heart Ashram. And so now we're going to be gathering online in that same sacred circle space of honoring and listening and sharing and just being together as sisters and daughters and mothers and grandmothers. And so I'm so looking forward to that. That has been very much missed by our Sarah, um, you know, community. And so you'll get to meet some amazing, wonderful women of all different ages and different backgrounds and ethnicities and different faith and spiritual traditions. I'm an indigenous grandmother. Literally and figuratively. And so it'll be wonderful to get to know each and every one of you more and more and just embrace you into our loving heart and be part of the family. So, welcome.
Thanks, Larissa. Yeah, and let's add loving brothers too, because we do have a couple of them, brother
Yeah, David,
ambassadors, and we can't do this without the men. So,
that's right.
and however else one might identify.
And
So
youth as well. The youth are so important. And David's daughter, Patience, right? Is she an ambassador as
he's
well?
an ambassador, our first, youth ambassador. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, um, so thanks, Larissa. So why don't we go around and introduce ourselves and say what your passion is and how you're showing up in the world, and what you want us to know about you. We have the time because it's a nice small group today. And Sarah, before we go, we were recording when Gabrielle was on, so you can let me know if you want me to blur them out later. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So why don't we start with Maureen, because she was here first, and that's how we roll.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Maureen, and I live in Massachusetts near Boston. And my passion really has been revolved around spirituality in respect of all traditions and such, and just developing compassion, especially for women and the situations that we face, and coming together and empowering each other.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah, and Maureen was the first to sign up to be an ambassador, or the first to connect with anyway, and is already our editor. He's already edited the last 3 or 4 newsletters and has contributed to our blog, and has been on everything. And I met Maureen originally through Grandmother Flor de Mayo's calls. She was a regular on when I was hosting those calls with one of the 13 Indigenous grandmothers, founding 13 Indigenous grandmothers, Grandmother Flor de Mayo. I always saw her name there. It's always a great presence. So anyway, thanks so much. And then Nancy, God, I'm so glad the three of you